Hi, I'm Bobby, and today I'm hanging out with some gold miners.
My name's Jason with my YouTube channel, MBMMLLC. We do a lot of underground mining stuff, and Bobby came up to help us rappel down a mine shaft that I don't have the skills or experience to do it myself.
I'll focus on the technical rope side of keeping you safe, and you focus on keeping me safe in an old mine.
Yeah, perfect. I'll give you a mine tour and you make sure we don't die falling down a hole. This is the kind of stuff we're finding with gold on it. Dan's been doing a lot of washing and panning. Dan, go ahead and tell everybody who you are.
Dan Hurd, with Dan Hurd Prospecting. Been just helping Jason out here by sampling around the mine. I just took a good load from the hot pocket he's doing and panned it all out. There's gold in everything there, Jason.
It's good stuff.
Everything.
Awesome. I can't wait to get down below and see if we can find some of this free gold in the quartz vein.
We are about to go down there.
Jesus, Bobby, that goes way down there. Looks like 500 feet. So I go down first.
Yep,
Just like we practiced on the truck.
just like we practiced.
Am I going to be hanging and
You'll be next to the wall most of the time. You'll be able to touch it. So we've got Jason anchored to some round slings to this bush. There's a lot of biomass. Some of it is even alive. Would you trust that as an anchor? Look up here, Jason. Is there fear in your eyes?
I think so. I'm just trying not to look down. Don't look down. Just look up.
Is this less scary than trying to find that other mine?
I don't know yet. Okay. I was feeling really good when I was standing where you were, and now I'm not so good now that I looked down the hole. But I got to get under this fence first.
Keep moving.
Remember, Jason, this is scarier than getting shot at, in my opinion.
Oh, great.
When my buddies and I would go rock climbing and rappelling and stuff in Joshua Tree, like I was generally more afraid of rappelling than I was getting shot at.
You have experience getting shot at?
Yes, I have experience getting shot at.
You don't want to go down there with Jason?
I say a lot of stupid shit when I'm afraid, so.
I'll just straight up say no.
So we just got down to the bottom of the shaft here. This is really cool. There's huge open stopes to the west. This is where the vein was, and they mined it completely out. So they've taken all the ore out, and they've left this big, huge crack in the earth. And there are big chunks of rock that have fallen off the wall and wedged themselves.
That makes it more stable, right?
Yeah. See all the bats?
Yeah.
There's tons of bats around. There's a couple of big major things in these old mines. One is stuff falling off the back, or the walls, and whacking us. As long as we're not banging and poking and prodding, we should be fine. The other one, especially going straight down a shaft, is air quality. But we have a gas detector or air monitor, and this detects 4 different gases. The one that I'm most worried about is oxygen level, and this is reading right now 20.9, which is pretty much atmospheric oxygen. If this thing gets to 19.5, it'll start beeping and shaking and letting us know that the oxygen level is low, and then we'll come back to the main shaft. But here at the bottom of the shaft, it's totally fine, totally normal oxygen level, so this is a good safe place.
Our gear being lowered down to us, and that's the shaft we came down. It's about 80 or 90 feet.
Got over the edge and looked down. I thought that's 500 feet. But watching you come down and looking at it up, it's like, yeah, it's not even 100 feet, I don't think. Old wood and debris.
What's this here, Jason?
That is a piece of pipe. It's not airline. I don't know what that's for. I don't see a lot of it. It may be just a piece of junk someone threw down the shaft too. This is interesting. The vein is terminated right here. There is a fault right here. Actually looks more like a dike, or a fault with a dike intrusion. There is, looks like diorite maybe, going all along here, running roughly southeast northwest at about a 60-degree dip. On the other side is vein, so it looks like it got offset to the north about 5 feet. Here's a stall, so this is mining terminology. This is a stall. This is called a whale. When they hit the stall down, it disperses the pressure on the wall and extends the force of the stall.
That looks pretty rotten. Do you think it's doing anything?
That is not doing anything. They were concerned about this big slab here, but me looking at it, it looks fine. They may have used these actually to work off of to get up rather than wall support. Here we can talk a little bit about the terminology of a mine. This is the rib, left rib, right rib, the back, and the sill is the floor. They stoped up looking for good vein, and they never mucked it. So all this rock came from the back, and they just blasted it and let it fall in a pile, probably because it wasn't good enough grade to warrant mining. There's another High Life can. What year was that from? Found a little hand steel here.
What do they use that for?
So this mine was last worked in 1902. It was probably all done by hand. So you'd have a guy drilling holes with a hammer and chisel, and he'd hit this and he'd turn it a quarter turn, and he'd hit it and turn it a quarter turn, and hit it and turn it a quarter turn. And that's how they drilled their 1 to 2 feet worth of holes that they would load with dynamite. That's how they blasted all this rock.
We use a similar hand drill in rock climbing.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Like a little hand steel thing?
It's a holder that fits SDS bits,
Oh, sure, yeah.
but it's the same exact concept.
Okay, and
Yeah.
just bam, 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 it turns and...
Yep. In wilderness areas where you're not allowed to use power tools.
Oh, cool. This might have grade here on the muck pile. When the old timers were working, they needed it to be really rich to warrant hand mining it, mucking it, taking it to the shaft, and then taking it all the way down to the mill. So they were looking for 2 ounces a ton, 3 ounces a ton, whereas this stuff may be half an ounce a ton because it's mixed with wall rock and the vein may have not been very good. But at today's prices, this could be ore sitting here on the ground that if we could come in, it's already mined and broken, we just got to scoop it up and get it out of here. It's hard to reopen these old mines, though. There's a lot of work involved. It's really competent ground, which is what we like.
What do you mean when you say ground?
Just the rock around the ribs and the back are stable.
So you're not worried about a mine collapse?
No, not in here. This is all pretty darn good. I've been in places where the vein is essentially comes in through a really nasty fault, and it's just gooey, gougy clay on the walls, and there's big boulders stuck in it that are just waiting to fall on your head. And then this is as far as they got. Diorite in the vein, which we saw on the surface. So there's a little lens of diorite here. I don't know exactly what that means for grade, but this, the host rock, the country rock, this and this are not diorite. The vein is quartz, and then in around the vein you have this little squirt of diorite. So it's almost like the vein or the diorite came up in this crack, and then the other one followed.
What I think is really cool is these tiny little stalactites that have been forming over the last 100+ years. There's all sorts of tiny crystals here that seem to have grown after this was mined. We just came out of the East Drift. Where are we headed next, Jason?
Next, we're going to go north, and this is a crosscut. A drift is along the vein, and a crosscut is where they drifted into the wall rock trying to intersect another vein. And on the surface, we have this vein, and then about 30 or 40 feet to the north, there's a secondary vein. So the idea would be is this crosscut goes 40 feet, intersects the vein, and then drifts on the vein. And if that happens, that's really cool, because it means they mined both veins, brought ore to this location, and sent it up the shaft to the mill.
Why do you think that's so shallow?
I think a lot of this right at the beginning, oh, there's more of that pipe we saw earlier. A lot of this is just stuff that's sloughed from the shaft. They may have backfilled the stope in that vein, and it may have sloughed into this.
Jason is now on his stomach, and this is starting to feel a lot more like caving than I prefer.
Are you not a big caver, Bobby?
Oh, I used to be, but then crawling around on my stomach got a lot less fun.
If you don't want to follow me, Bobby, that's totally fine.
If you can do it, I can do it.
This is mostly done.
And I've got the oxygen monitor.
Our reader is at 20.9 still, So we're totally fine on oxygen. One of the ways that oxygen can get used up in these old mines is if there's sulfides in the vein, like pyrite or galena or chalcopyrite, as those interact with water and oxygen, they oxidize and it turns them into oxides from sulfide. You can get these layers of air that all the oxygen has been used up by the sulfides, and it's a dead zone. That's why it's so important to have these oxygen monitors. Is right over this next hump, there may be a zone where there's just dead air hanging there that never gets recirculated.
What happens if we get into that dead air?
It depends on how bad the oxygen is. If it's in the teens percentage, you'll start seeing stars and you'll start to like black out. If it's way, way low, you'll get a couple of breaths and you'll pass out. I've never experienced that. I heard of a guy that was going down an old mine just like this with a shaft, and he climbed down one of the old ladders, and as soon as his head got below the level he was on, he saw stars and started feeling all funky, and he popped his head right back up, and that whole level, everything below that was dead air. This is interesting. This was hand stacked here. So see all the rock, they made a nice little wall. It looks like it goes back there about 20 or 30 feet and then dead ends.
Jason's going to check it out for us. He says his monitor is still reading 20.9. What'd you find back there, Jason?
It goes back about 40 feet, 30 or 40 feet, and they hit a little fault or maybe a little tiny vein, and they drifted east and west on it about 10 or 15 feet each way. But it was very small and didn't look like anything with potential.
So they just decided to use this shaft to get rid of waste rock?
This was easier to put it back here than back up the hole.
There's daylight up there, but we're going to head up this stope first. But I'm going to wait for Jason to get up there so he doesn't knock any rocks down on me. So you just went up there and were making some excited noises. What did you find?
I got way too cozy with the bats. There's a couple of spots where it's 2.5 feet wide, 2 feet wide, and there's two bats like right here at stomach level that I had to like sneak around. I did not like that at all.
Did they notice you?
No, they didn't move. Nothing along the wall moved. There's 2 or 3 different kinds of bats. There's like these little tiny furry ones. And there's one hanging there with like these really long ears. The ears were like 1.5 inches, 2 inches long. But I got up to the top of the pile without getting rabies. It's a scree slope down the other side, and it goes down past the level you and I are standing. I couldn't see the bottom, and it's really steep. The stope continues to the west for at least 100 more feet, and then the vein kind of goes around a corner. Pete's on the surface scraping with the excavator. I think he's 10 feet away. I can hear him scraping, and so there's not much material between Pete and the stope that drops 100 feet. I got to go tell him to stop. From the top of that pile, you can see the open stope to the west, and there's a pillar they left of ore, and it's the widest, best looking ore I've seen. It's probably 3.5 feet wide, and it's got some blues and greens from the copper staining. That's the best ore I've seen, and that's what the vein would have looked like here when they were mining, is just a whole vein of that has now been removed and left this huge crack in the earth.
So Jason, you did your first rappel. This is your first experience ascending a rope. You excited?
I am more excited to get out of the hole.
This is not the efficient way to do anything. The efficient way would have been to have a Z3 drill powered pulley, but I was a doofus this morning and forgot it in the car.
Good experience for me though.
You get to learn a new skill, but I have to work a lot more. We all have to work a lot more.
It's kind of like dancing a little bit. I'm not a very good dancer, but I'm kind of getting the hang of this.
I'm terrible at dancing, but I can do this.
Yeah, I'm gonna feel this tomorrow. I think you're right.
I'm about 30 feet from the top, and I'm taking a break because I really wish I had my drill-powered pulley.
Okay, this is your mine. You do the honors. Have a look.
What is this?
This is off the bottom of the hot pocket up there.
Dan, what's all that yellow stuff? Holy crap.